This may be a reality for you now, a new reality of having to stay at home a whole lot more. And we appreciate how difficult that can be, so we want to talk about it. And we'll do that with Andreas Kappes, who is a social psychologist and neuroscientist, also a lecturer in the Department of Psychology at the University of London. Andreas, thank you for joining us. I feel like it's a step-by-step process, and maybe the first step for people is just having to get over the idea that this is just how it is now. There isn't a lot you can do about it, and you need to almost get over that psychological hump before thinking about anything else.
Yes, that's a great observation. I think we all crave kind of like a feeling of control over our lives, and we all have to give that somewhat up. And I think for some people that might actually kind of be expressed in a very, not in a good way, such that they are trying to get the control back over their life. And I think the best way to do it is to consume, to worry more about the coronavirus, to consume a lot of news, to try to kind of make up for this feeling of control, by this illusion of control, by watching TV, by watching the news, by checking Twitter, by seeing what's going on Facebook, kind of trying to get this feeling back. And that might feed then into the worry about what is going to happen with my life. So I think one of the things we should realize is that more information, more watching TV, more news is not the solution. If you catch yourself being overly concerned with the situation, you might want to kind of restrict your media consumption and stay away a little bit from that.
Yeah, not a bad time to put the phone down, isn't it? Tell me about the links also between physical and mental health. I think a lot of people will be worrying about physical health and thinking, I need to try to keep fit. But that presumably can tie in and help with people's mental health.
Yes, I think that's a great observation. Just kind of in general, if we look at what makes people happy, physical activity, what keeps us happy, what keeps us productive, physical activity is a very good point. I think even more important are social interactions. I think we really underestimate, if you're socially isolated at home, we underestimate how important mundane interactions in our lives are, how much they keep us happy. So just like normally we think like, oh, I can do without the conversation at the grocery shop or talking to my colleague at the coffee machine, but these really contribute to our well-being. So it's important to kind of keep in mind and allow yourself to have mundane interactions with your relatives and your families. You might sometimes feel, well, why should I call my mother just to tell her that basically nothing happens? I shouldn't call her, but you should give yourself the permission to kind of have ordinary, boring conversations with others, because they really contribute to our feeling of happiness and being connected to others.
Yeah, I think calling your mum is always good advice. One thing which is different in the situation we have now is that it is open-ended, isn't it? Often if you know maybe you were ill or you've had an accident, you broke your leg, you know you're going to be at home for 4 weeks or 6 weeks. Here, none of us actually know. Do you have any recommendations for, again, getting over that hump? Because I think that's where a lot of desperation comes from, thinking, oh my God, how long is this going to go on?
Yeah, and I think it's also in some ways like it's a natural response, right? You're in a situation that everyone tells you is severe, is important, that restricts your life, but they can't really tell you much. There are very different sources of information telling you different things. I think the biggest advice I can give here is just to kind of find something in your life that you might focus on instead. So yesterday when I was out and trying to do some shopping, I saw a lot of people rushing to the DIY stores, to the hardware stores, to the gardening centers. And I think that's a very good idea to kind of say like, okay, get a sense of control, get a sense of achievement back into your life by having a little project, by trying to improve your garden, by trying to improve your flat, or maybe just learning a new language. That gives you this feeling back that you're in control, that you can achieve things. And that might also get you away from being preoccupied with the uncertainty of the situation. So instead of kind of trying to focus on it, say you know what you're supposed to do, there's nothing else you can do, okay, let's leave that, let's focus on something else that can give me some feeling of control and joy and achievement in my life.
Andreas Kappes, thank you for your time. Great advice, and I'm sure our audience appreciates it as well. Thank you.